Things are looking pretty bad for SLP here. In my previous video, I mentioned a move to the 786, which is around 1.2 cents, and it actually looked like we managed to move a little bit lower, around 1 cent, but that managed to get bought up pretty quickly here, and we are back above the 786 currently. So what I think is probably going to happen here is a move to this red box as a retest of resistance, and then a further move down back to this low here. If we take a look at the EMA ribbon and the Ichimoku cloud, you can see that we briefly had a green Ichimoku cloud here, but it flipped back red and it's starting to widen. Not a great sign. On the daily, we also had a green EMA spread for just a short amount of time, but we managed to break it to the downside since it was relatively thin. And this was after a rejection from the 236 as well as the Ichimoku cloud here. You can see since the EMA ribbon flipped back red, we really haven't had any touches of it. It's also currently widening and catching up with the price action. And usually, especially on the longer time frames, the wider this gets, we rarely break it to the upside immediately, especially on its first test after flipping bearish again. Not a whole lot to talk about on the smaller time frames, as they're all pretty much saying bearish breakouts. This is actually looking a lot like Spell, especially on the 4-hourly chart with the Ichimoku cloud and the EMA ribbon tests. You know, here we did see a test of it quite heavily, and then it moved to the downside, so we could very well break above it here, since again we have tested it a bunch. The Ichimoku cloud is relatively thin here, so we could very well break through it to the upside, but it is also within this red box of resistance. And again, you know, this has kept us up with some pretty heavy moves to the upside here. So I expect that when we retest it, we'll have a rejection. Now, this rejection could very well just send us back to the 786 before we really start chipping away at this level again and break it to the upside, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. If we take a look at the SLP issuance, it's pretty much trash still. You know, we're minting much more coins than we were burning, which isn't great. It has slowed down from back here, but again, we really need to see this tighten up to see higher price action. So to sum things up here, if we see a bounce, which I think we will, but ultimately I think this bounce will stop at this red box, either at the bottom of it or at the top or somewhere in between. So again, if we do find a bounce here, expect a potential rejection at around 1.5 to 1.7 cents. And ultimately, we'll have to break this red box of resistance to the upside and use it as support if we want to remain bullish. If we do find a rejection here and end up trading below the 786, a move all the way down to the previous low here could very well be on the table, which is around 0.08 cents. But in my opinion, I really think something like this is probably going to play out where we retest the red box and find our way back down to this previous low at 0.08 cents again. This is all I have for Smooth Love Potion Day. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so, as I try to post content daily. As always, this is not financial advice. I'll see you in the next one.